Howdy, Dr. Kim.
Hey, Colby, how are you today?
Good. We're back again.
It's Friday. Friday gets here pretty quick, and I'm glad because it's fun.
It's going by fast. This summer, it feels different coming into summer from everything that happened in the spring, because I felt like spring went by kind of fast. It was weird. It was a weird spring, and now summer's hitting. It's supposed to kind of be feels normal, but it doesn't feel like we had much of a spring. At least that's, in my opinion, kind of how things.
I think so. I think it's just weird because kids went to spring break and nobody came back. And most of the kids' minds, it's summer, and then the moms that were trying and dads trying to homeschool, that was crazy. And so It really is. I think at least here it's summer now. No schoolwork, and that's good.
It feels like summer for sure. It's definitely.
It's getting warm a little. That's good.
So today we're talking about what's it like speaking of the coronavirus and everything that happened there, and it kind of has a tendency to kind of get us out of our routines, right, if you will.
Absolutely, yeah.
And one thing that I've noticed, even for my wife and I at times, it's so easy to neglect certain things that we're doing. That's why we talk so much about disciplines. We've talked about, hey, how's your spent time with Jesus? How's your time with your family? Are you still taking advantage of a routine or trying to create something that keeps you moving? Because we know that as soon as some of that stuff stops, it's harder to get it started again.
Absolutely.
And one of those things that is, for us, it's opening up this weekend is church again. At least we're inviting families back in, all the way back in. And one thing that we want to encourage everybody that's listening today is my Pastor Chris said this, and I thought it was just a great point, is we have a tendency to drift away from God. We don't drift towards God. And community and people and church and spiritual growth is absolutely essential. And if you get in the habit of like, hey, I'm great with not having to go to church, this is kind of an easy thing to start doing, that's exactly what Satan wants. And you need to start thinking about ways and proactively resisting that and getting back into the swing of church and community and that spiritual life.
I think it is. I mean, it's, sure, is it fun to watch church in your PJs on the sofa and with a cup of coffee? Yeah, but I think there is something, just when I went back in the building that first time, there's something about being there with other believers. There's something about the community that you feel. And just, I think we need that. I think that's why God didn't just, I think why the church was created. And so, sure, there's times to watch church online. That's great. But I think making that commitment to get back in a building is really important, because there's so many benefits, I think, with that. And I think, when your church lets the kids back in, kids love it and they need to be there.
They do. So it's a family. And obviously we have to take into account not everybody is able to go back to church. Like there's some states that are still locked in. So
some people are still church online and streaming. And that's been such a blessing through the technology's allowed us to do this. But I agree. I think let's just try to get back into some of those disciplines that were so healthy for us that before our world got kind of rocked with this pandemic.
That's absolutely right. And that's a good way of saying it. So encouraging all of those who are listening today is, if you've had this kind of tendency to kind of be drifting away and saying, hey, maybe this is not something I need to be doing, this is kind of nice, resist that, get back together with fellowship and a community if you're capable of doing that right now, and embrace that spiritual community that you had before all of this went down, because it's going to only grow you and make you better. And it's something
absolutely. And I think our churches, if your church isn't back yet, just encouraging your pastors as they're trying to figure things out. Everybody wants to be back, and the pastors want to be back. They want you back. But sure, each state is a little bit different. So, pray for them, encourage them.
That's right. Absolutely. And if you can't meet together in a community yet as a church, then maybe there's ways you can still get together via social distancing and separate, but get kind of back in the swing of things for sure. It's time. Don't live in that. Maybe even a way of saying is that there is a fear that you're still worried about, something that's encompassing you and ingrained in you as far as saying, hey, will I get this or not that? There's a time for us to overcome that, I think, too, and resist the fear and move past it and say, God did not give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and self-discipline. And you do need to start thinking about what that looks like to resist that. And are you living in fear, or are you living with wisdom? Both of those it's a fine line, but we're not supposed to live in fear.
No, absolutely. I was kind of thinking, it's not thinking out of the box. It's kind of getting back in the box that was good for you.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great way of saying it. Yeah.
It really is. And thinking creatively too. I've seen a couple, we go by our church parking lot just because it's on the way to home. And we've seen a couple or groups tailgating in church parking lots. I mean, there's ways to get together with some of your people. So look for those opportunities.
Absolutely. Well, it's been good. I love having these conversations. I hope this encourages some of you and motivates you. As we say every week, don't be an okay man.
Be a better man.
That's right.
See you guys.